How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a Red Sox CLNS Roundtable. Alex Barth with you alongside Nick Quaglia and from 98.5, the Sports Hub, Joe Murray. Guys, we're talking about the pitching rotation tonight. Not so much the front end because Chris Sale's been Chris Sale. Rick Porcello's been unexpectedly good. Price has been hit or miss. But it's that back end. If you watched Eduardo Rodriguez last night, how can you not be concerned? The guy walks and runs early. He could barely throw a strike. Meanwhile, you have Brian Johnson throwing well out of the bullpen. Hector Velazquez throwing well out of the bullpen. Joe, we'll start with you. Is it time for the Red Sox to maybe shake up the back end of this rotation?
No, not yet. And, to be honest, I'm not even concerned whatsoever. I thought the front of the rotation you'd be concerned about. Whether
Really?
it's David Price, right? Right off the gate. You look at David Price, he's pitching well.
I'll be concerned about David Price before anybody else. And, I guess you could consider in the back half because he's probably their third starter right now.
Probably. The way Porcello is pitching, keeping you in games, I'd at least be more concerned with his performance. Pomeranz will get there. Let's face it. The guy missed, I don't know how much time during spring training. He's gotten out of a few jams, but let's just look at it like this. As long as this team can continue to hit, they can throw whoever they want out there. So if Eddie Rodriguez has a bad start and they hit well, we're not really going to look at the 4.3 ERA that he has. We're not going to look at Drew Pomeranz's 7.0 ERA that he has right now. But I will say this, though. If they do want to shake it up, Hector Velazquez is a guy that I just throw him in any situation. He's been pretty good. So I'm not panicking right now. Plus, the weather's still cool, guys. And I'm sure a guy like Eddie Rodriguez, once it gets warmer out, maybe that knee feels better. Maybe he throws better. But I'm not ready to pull the plug. And I'm not even sure about Steven Wright. I don't even know if we should really put him into the plans right now. I think his clock just started. So I'm not worried as of right now.
You're not confident in the 4-year-old knuckleballer coming off of a shoulder injury? No confidence in that situation? Nick, you're the one who suggested this topic, so I'm guessing you have a hot take on this. You also said during spring training that the Red Sox would use under 10 starting pitchers this year. I believe they're up to 7 already. What are your thoughts on the back end?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm still sticking with that. We're under 7, and this is the rotation. These are the guys that I'm kind of feeling that they're going to roll with until the end of the year. And just real quick on Steven Wright, this team has been so hot to start off the year, guys. I almost forgot that he existed. I almost forgot that guy was still on the roster. Speaking of which, Alex, we talked about this today in the group chat. Clay Buchholz available. Clay Buchholz looking for a job.
I do want to touch on that at the end, but let's save the outrage for the end of the day.
Okay, so anyway, the back end of the rotation. I texted you last night when we were thinking about things to talk about on tonight's roundtable, and it was after watching Erod's explosion during his last start that kind of got me worried. But, the more I'm thinking about it, it was in the rain, and I was looking at his numbers, and for whatever reason, the starts that he's given, they've looked worse than what they've ended up being. He's out of the 5 starts so far, he's only had 2 that he's given up more than 3 runs. And he's coming back off of that injury too. Pomeranz is the guy that I worry about because I worried about Pomeranz last year before the whole Pomeranz, John Farrell blow up that they had in Oakland. And then that's when he really started to kick it into gear. At that point, I had no trust in Drew Pomeranz. At this point now, I had trust before the season started. He's a guy who worries me. But this is a good problem to have. I'm not saying that I want Drew Pomeranz to crap the bed on us. I think eventually he will work it out, potentially. But even if he doesn't, from what I'm seeing from Hector Velazquez right now, Hector Velazquez has gained my trust. When I see that guy warming up the bullpen, your starter's having a tough time, he's the perfect guy to bring in for 5 or 4 innings. He's really good at giving the entire bullpen a lot of rest because if your guy, again, is struggling in the 4th inning, he's going to give you 3 solid innings. The guy has been pitching very well. So this is a good problem to have because you have a guy that can potentially fill in that role if needed. But for right now, Erod, I'll give a couple more chances. Pomeranz, we've also heard that he might be tipping pitches. That worries me. Pomeranz, if one of these 2 guys gets booted out of the rotation eventually in this season, I'm going to have to say it might be Pomeranz. So, yeah, I'm pretty worried about him.
And they talked about tipping pitchers on Red Sox Beat this week. You can go on clnsmedia.com and check that out.
Yes, they do.
Just to kind of respond to both of you guys, and Joe, you mentioned, if they're scoring, you can throw whoever out there and it'll be fine. And for the most part, that's true. But who have the Red Sox played recently? Tampa, Kansas City, Tampa again. What happens when they have to play Houston? What happens when they meet New York again? And not just in the regular season, in the playoffs. I want them to have capable pitching in those games. I don't want Hector, like, eventually I think they will realize that Velasquez needs to be in the starting rotation, whether it's over Erod or over Pomerantz or whoever. I don't want his first start to be a major game against the Yankees in the divisional race or in the playoffs. I want them to get this figured out quick. If Pomerantz he doesn't have it, I don't want to wait for him to figure it out.
Well, the guy won 17 games last year, so I think he deserves that time. The other thing is just put him back on the DL. Like, let him get better. Yeah. Something just isn't right at the moment. If he's tipping pitches, it's because he's trying to do something. But guys, Eddie Rodriguez, he has 29 strikeouts this year. He has more strikeouts than David Price at this point.
Yeah, is that impressive?
What's the strikeout to walk ratio, though?
I don't know what that is. It doesn't matter to me. I just know that, if I look at the strikeouts there, he's third on the team. But listen, it's so early. Like, it is so early. But to your point, Alex, yeah, when they start playing better teams, don't we all feel that way? Like, don't we all feel that once New York gets hot, Houston gets hot, Cleveland gets hot, like, they're just going to be the second-tier team all over again. So, really, they have to hit. They have to hit the baseball. And that's what they're doing best right now. And right now, you throw whoever you want out there and see what happens. Like, these guys have to get hot. You can't just pull Eddie Rodriguez right now. It's not going to be any good for his benefit.
Hector Velasquez is hot. Why wait for these other guys to get hot when you already have a hot hand?
Because he's great in his role. He is perfect in his role right now. I love where he's at right now in the bullpen. Like I was saying before, 4 or 5 innings a night, 3 innings, whatever it is, this guy is giving your bullpen rest. I love where they're sticking Hector Velasquez. The guy is perfect for what he's doing right now.
He reminds me of Julian Tavares, if you remember him.
Or like I would consider that a compliment there, Joe.
Yeah, no, he was a little crazy, that guy. Both of them, Seves as well. But hey, listen, I agree. Nick, I think that right now, wherever you put him, he's going to thrive. And you got to stick with what you have, right? The only time you're going to bring somebody else up is a Brian Johnson or, again, Stephen Wright, whenever that happens. That's like break glass in case of emergency. I don't know why you're so worried about the pitching right now when can the hitting continue to stay where it is? I think that's the biggest part because last year, right, wasn't that the issue? They couldn't hit home runs. Now they're hitting home runs. So why do we care about
so I'm not worried about it because they're hitting now. I'm not worried about it. This looks somewhat sustainable. They were hitting without Bogaerts. Now Bogaerts is back. He didn't miss a step. I can't worry about the hitting. I need something to worry about. It's the Red Sox after all. So I go to the pitching.
The 8th inning guy. That should be the issue.
I'm worried about that too. And that leads us to our next topic real quick because this is mostly starting rotation. But I want to touch on the bullpen. Clay Buchholz isn't coming back as a starter. I did have somebody tell me today that he would be okay going to a contending team in a bullpen role. I mean, I'd be livid. There would be a lot of yelling. There would be a lot of cursing. That's my feeling. I don't know if you guys are ready to give Cladro another shot in Boston.
Listen,
I am out on that one. You don't even have to ask me.
Thank you.
No, listen, I will say, we watched this guy.
No, you won't say. You shouldn't say.
Listen. Give me an opportunity here.
Real quick, because we're up against it.
We have watched this guy. It's like watching that cousin that you really don't like grow up. Like, you love the guy, but you really don't trust him that much. That's how I get the sense with Cladro. We watched this guy come up through the farm system. He showed up. There were no hitter. This guy for years, we were like, he's got the potential. He's got the stuff. This guy's going to be able to do it. Hey, you know what, too? How old is he now? 36? Maybe it's still somewhere in there. Bring him in the bullpen.
If he had the potential, we would see the potential.
I just want to see him. I just want to see him in a Red Sox uniform.
I would rather them re-sign Jose Contreras at this point. Okay,
Jonathan Papelbon.
Yes, I would love to. I was all in. Who else? Eric Gagne. I would be fine with them bringing back. Nick, I'm trying to remember the name I dropped in the group chat earlier.
I don't know. I had to mute you guys.
I was very proud of it. But anyways, I am so far out on Clay Buchholz, and if you want the Red Sox to win, frankly, you should be too. So I got to go back and double check this name. I cannot remember.
You know what? Frankly, I don't want the Red Sox to win.
Brian Wilson. I want Brian Wilson.
Oh yeah, the beard, right?
That's right. Although he's on starting now. Anyway, lots of good talk, guys. That's going to do it for us for this edition of the Red Sox Roundtable. Joe Murray, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Nick Quaglia as well, as always. Nick, you got any more ridiculous points here? I'm giving you the floor for like 5 seconds.
Oh, you're giving me the floor? I mean, no. Like I just said, I want the Red Sox to lose. I do not want them to win.
Well, that would be, now I know why you want them to sign Clay Buchholz.
Everybody back in the bullpen.
He's panicking.
I am panic. I am panic. If they sign Clay Buchholz, that'll really be panic. But for more Red Sox roundtables, follow us on Twitter at Red Sox channel CLNS. Check us out online, clnsmedia.com. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.